Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Hello, you guys. This is Kelly. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited that you decided to spend some time with me. I feel like you've come down to my house, sat down in my kitchen with your cup of coffee, and we're just here chatting about the things that matter, talking about the things that are really important. And I don't know about you, but I have my very best girlfriends that I can go deep with. And those are the conversations that I love most. I love going deep. And so today I'm going to do that with you guys because I want to talk about how to lose your expectations. And you may be like, what? But I've been sitting with this a lot lately, this idea of how our expectations become like layers and layers and layers of things that sit on top of who we really are. Our expectations sort of drive us in many ways, and they create disappointment in ourselves and others. They lead us to do things that we don't always really want to do. And in my experience, expectations hide our authentic self, because a lot of times our expectations that we have are not even really ours. They've been layered onto us by the world, by our family, by the way that we grew up, by where we went to school, by our friends. We have all of these ideas of who we have to be. And we work and work and work at trying to be those things, trying to meet those expectations. And then we wonder why it doesn't feel good. And that's really the heart of what I love to teach and talk about, right? This is about listening to your inner voice, not listening to the programming, if you will, of the world, not listening to that inner mean girl voice in your head that says, this is the way things must look in order for you to feel successful, fulfilled, joyful, happy, feeling like you're living the life that you want to live. And listen, I know that you guys feel the rub of that. And I know that you do because you tell me that you do. And I know that you do because I feel it too. And so this needs to become something that we pay attention to. So how do we lose those expectations? How do we set them aside so we can really dig into who we are instead of who we think we should be? Well, the first step is we have to become aware of them. And I mean, this seems kind of obvious, right? But it's not. So many of the expectations that we have, we don't even realize our expectations. We don't even realize that we're doing it. It's so ingrained. It's so innate. It's such a default mechanism of the way that our brain works that we don't even realize it. So you must become aware. Here's a really great example. When I first became a mom, I had all these ideas of what it meant to be a good mom. And really what those were expectations. Those were expectations that looked like this. Well, if I'm a good mom, then my kid will be neatly dressed in a cute matching outfit with hair brushed. They will be well behaved. They will want to do things that are like the typical kid things. I'm going to be a soccer mom. I'm going to go to sporting events. My child is going to play violin. And, the list goes on, right? And what my dear son, Ryan, who, by the way, just turned 16, can you guys even believe it? Oh my gosh. What he has taught me more than anything in this life is that you rarely get what you expect, and that is such a good thing. He never was one to live up to my expectations in the very, very best way. And, isn't that interesting how even when we say that, he doesn't live up to my expectations, it seems like a negative thing. The negative thing is that I had the expectations to begin with, right? That I thought he needed to fit into a mold and that would make me a better mother. And the more I got to know my child and the more I began to allow myself to set aside what I thought it meant to be a good mother and just go with my gut and do what I felt was right, I realized, all of this, all of these things, that's what I thought I needed. That's who I thought I needed to be. That's what I thought was expected. That's what I expected of myself. And when we lay that aside, all of a sudden, what that creates for us is a blank slate of possibility. If there are no expectations for you, who can you be? Think of all of the things. It's just this beautiful white page that's ready to be written on, instead of a page that's full of all of the things that you have to check off in order to feel good about yourself. And I like that feeling. I like that openness. I like that feeling of possibility. It feels really, really good. So first step, become aware of those layers of expectations that you've been living under for maybe decades, years and years and years and years, and just start to see them. And one by one, just start to ask yourself some powerful questions. This is step 2. Ask yourself questions like, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Is this who I am? Is this who I have to be? Is my heart telling me to do this? What would it feel like to not need this? You guys, these are powerful questions. And when you get still and you listen to your inner voice as you ask these questions, your inner voice will show you. Your inner voice will show you how to let go of these expectations. And that brings up a good point. I mean, the name of this podcast is How to Lose Your Expectations. But I don't know that we will ever lose them. I think our brain is made to create a story about who we think we need to be. So the challenge is not losing them. They're going to be there. Those thoughts are going to come. And we've lived a lifetime of having those layers of expectations on us. So it's not about losing them. They'll be there. But it's really more about peeling them away one by one and letting them go. And if they pop up again, you could just say, I don't need that right now. That's not for me. I give myself permission to not have this expectation. Oh, it just feels so good just to say that, you guys. I just want you to say that. I give myself permission to not need this expectation. Just let it go. So once you have gone through this practice, right, of becoming aware of the expectations and asking those powerful questions around them. And here's the thing, some of them are so deeply entrenched. When you ask these questions, you might feel like, yes, I do need that. And that's okay. that's where you are right now. I still have expectations that I'm peeling away and letting go of, and then I find them stuck back onto me again. And this is what brings us to the last step, and it will be of no surprise to you. And that is practice. Rinse and repeat. Do it again. Go through the steps again. This practice is what helps make the act of letting go of the expectations easier. So, no, we're not going to lose them. This process doesn't help us lose them. But I'm not going to rename the podcast because I like the title. But what it does help us is it helps us get better at letting them go. It hones our skill of letting go of those expectations. It hones our skill of identifying them and of getting really clear of if they're ours, if they're even ours. How many expectations do we have layered on top of us that don't even belong to us? Let's get rid of those first. And then we can start to deal with our own expectations and start to develop a kind, compassionate practice around paying attention to them, asking the powerful questions, and then releasing. And I say kind and compassionate because that is so essential. This is not about beating yourself up. This is not about saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been living this way all of these years. No way. I was on a podcast once and they asked me a really powerful question. They said, do you think you can teach your kids these practices so they don't have to uncover themselves as an adult? So I feel like as small children, we are 100% authentic who we are. And then as we grow older, we sort of have all of the layers of life and our stories that kind of pile on top of us and cover us. And then at some point in our life, we realize we don't have to be walking around with the weight of those stories anymore. And we start to take those layers off. And she asked me, is it possible that we could go through life without having to put all of that on? And the answer is, I don't think so. I think that's part of life. I think that's how we learn. I think that's how we develop empathy for other people and what they're going through. And so look at this not as something that you've done to yourself or that you have to undo or that you have to beat yourself up about or have regrets about. No, this is all a learning process. That's what life is. It's all about learning and discovering who we were born to be. And what a beautiful process that is if we allow it to be that way. It's all about allowing. So let go of those expectations. Let them fly away in the wind and feel the lightness of possibility, of who you can be, of what you can do when you're not, quote unquote, living up to expectations every single day. That feels really, really good. And this goes right along with my favorite topic of living into your inspired potential. I've talked about this a lot, but I think we can't talk about it enough because it's so counterintuitive to how we've been brought up in this world to think and feel. You know, as high achievers, as women who are ambitious, who are smart, who are intelligent, who push hard, our paradigm has been perform, check off the list, get the gold star. And then we wonder why we don't feel fulfilled. And we wonder why we don't feel happy and joyful, why we don't feel the way we want to feel. And I think that until we start tapping into our inner voice and living into the power that is inside of us, instead of this external checklist, that we're just checking off until, I don't know, we get to the end of it. I don't even know what that's like, right? What does that even mean? But when we tap into our personal power that's inside of us and we listen, then we can really start to be living the life that's going to help us feel the way that we want to feel. And that's what this is about. And so I'm excited to share with you, I'm doing another live 5 days of journaling. We're going to start May 19th. It's a Sunday. I decided to start on a Sunday. It's the week before Memorial Day. So I thought ending on a Thursday would be lovely. And we're going to do Inspired Potential again. It was so good last time. And I think we can always benefit from coming back to these questions, coming back to what it means to trust the power that is inside of you, and to lay aside the checklist, the to-do list, the gold stars, and just trust. So I'd love for you to join me. It's 100% free, and you can sign up at kellycovert.com/journal. And that live link is also in whatever podcast app that you're listening to. So you can just open your phone and click on that. All you need is an email and you will be signed up. And it's daily prompts for 5 days, daily journaling prompts. And then I will also do a live video chat on each of the days where we can come in, we can encourage each other, we can talk about what we've learned and be held accountable for the practice that you are creating. So go ahead and sign up, kellycovert.com/journal. I want to remind you, we need you. You, not the you that you think you should be, not the you that has all the expectations layered on, but the real you, the authentic you, the you that is totally unique and has gifts beyond measure that only you can be. You are worthy.